Hi, lovely people. You are welcome back to Physique Personal channel. My name is Fola. We appreciate as many that has been subscribing this channel. Thanks for staying by us all the while. You are the best. So, and as many that are yet to subscribe, do well to subscribe today. Thank you. Today, we will be learning this trendy style. Bustier dress with Bowknot Cape sleeve. So to make this beautiful dress, I'll be needing all these materials. So for the fabrics, I'll be using these African prints. I'll be using, the two colors, the same pattern, but different colors. So for the fabrics, I'll be using 1.5 yards of this for the bodice, for the main dress. And for the sleeve, I'll be using 1 yard of this is okay for the sleeves. And for the sleeves, I'll be using the same thing, the same fabric as the lining. We need this fusible interfacing or EST for the bodies. This peplon stay, we need it for the cape, for the sleeve parts. So, and I need my lining. So you are good to use a black lining, black cotton lining. But for this project, I will just be, this is the one available now. So I'll be using this for the lining. I need a worthy, just like cutter. I need the crilony or horsehair, as much as you have it. I will be needing this boning. So let's go. Now I've come with my pattern drafting, basic bodice. This ruling you are seeing here from my shoulder length is my starting point. And the length of our gown is going to be 38 inches. Then we have a hem allowance of 2 inches. I have my upper chest here of 6 inches. The chest line, 8 inches. The bust point, 9 inches. Under bust, 12 inches. Waistline of 17 inches. And the hip line, 25 inches. And I have my bust span here of 3.5. The bust span that is nipple to nipple that we're working with is 7 inches. I divide it by 2, give me 3.5. I measure it on the upper chest line here. And I measure it at the hip line here. And I connect it with a straight ruler. The first thing we'll be doing is to create the cup for this our bustier. And to achieve that, on the bust line, I'll be coming to this side with 2 inches, or I'll use 1.5. 1.5 because I'm working with a small cup person. So you are good to use 2 inches for the average person and 2.5 for big bust. Then I'll be coming to this side with a 1.5. I'll do the same thing on the waistline, 1.5. Then to this side, I will be marking half an inch. Coming with half an inch here. I do the same thing here. And I connect it with straight ruler. Yes. So I come to my bust point. I use my French cuff to connect from my bust point to this under bust. Just this way. So I come to my upper chest line. I do the same thing here. I come out. So what I will do in this my upper chest is to come to the left and to the right. You can, as a matter of fact, you can choose to do it the way you want it. All you are trying to maintain here is your 2 inches. You can measure 1 inch to this side and 1 inch to this side. So you are trying to share these 2 inches here. So what I will do here is that I will come to this side with 1 quarter, that is 1.25. So to this side, I will mark a 0.75. If you had a 0.75 plus 1.25, it still gives you 2 inches. So, and I will just connect it. So, by so doing, we have been able to create our cup here, as you can see. So the next thing we want to do now is to begin to measure our horizontal measurements. And the bust circumference we are working with is 32. We divide 32 by 4, it gives us 8. So we measure 8 here, 8 inches. We come to underbust. The underbust circumference we are working with is 26. We divide 26 by 4. It gives us 6.5. So here we measure our 6.5. Then we return 2 inches we are having inside A. We come to the waistline. The waist circumference we are working with is 26 as well. We divide it by 4. It gives us 6.5. We measure it. We return the 2 inches we are having inside A. We come to the hip line. We measure our hip. The hip circumference we are working with is 36. We divide it by 4. It gives us 9 inches. So we measure our 9 inches here. So for the down part of our gown, we deduct hip measurements. We deduct from the hip measurements 1.5 or 2 inches. So, but because we are working with Ankara fabric, so the Ankara is cotton, it doesn't really stretch. So we are good to just deduct 1.5. If you are dealing with stretchy material, you can deduct 2 inches. So we deduct 1.5 from these 9 inches. It gives us 7.5. So before we connect it, we still measure our upper bust circumference. So the upper chest circumference we are working with is 29. We divide 29 by 4. It gives us 7.25. So we mark it. Then we return 2 inches we are having here. 2 inches. It's 29, so it's 7.25. Then 2 inches. Even here in our chest line, which is 8 inches, 8 inches, you return the little you're having inside here. We have like quarter here. Return it. Okay, before we go ahead and add our seam allowance, let's quickly take care of the bust dart. Let me connect it. So I think I will stop here first. I will later connect the skirt part, but let's quickly take care of the bust dart. To achieve that, on this line, I'll just step down with 1.5. I connect it from this end here on this line. Let me just, you can come out with a 1 inch, or you can even connect it direct. So I will share what I will get the midpoint of this. This is 1.5. The midpoint of it will be 0.75. This is it. So I measure what I'm having on this line. On this line, I'm having like 4/4 here. So I get that 4/4 here. This is 4/4. I connect it. Then from here, I connect from a chest line. I connect. Then I connect here. So that is that. I want to cut it out now. Just connect this way. You don't really need the yoke part. So as it is, I won't bother to create any neckline because the one we are making is there is going to be a bow by that center. So I will first of all close the bust dart. Always remember to blend this way. Don't cut it in a sharp manner. So I'm closing. Never mind the way this looks. I'll blend it up. So here, I will just add the fresh paper to add my seam allowance after closing the dart. So I'll be adding, you can add 2 inches seam allowance, 2 inches, 2 inches. This is your bust line, 2 inches. So you don't need to add anything to the upper chest. So you connect it. You can add between 1.5 to 2 inches anyway. Depends. So here now, I'll just create my armhole. Let me use another cup for the armhole. So this we are creating now. This armhole we are creating is not the final one. This drafting you are seeing here with this armhole is for the bustier, I mean off shoulder bustier with sleeve. But the one we are making is without the sleeve. It only has the cape. So in that wise, I connect from the upper chest to the armhole line this way. Then I connect it to the seam allowance just this way. Then I just blend it. Yeah. So I'll cut this off. So the half an inch seam allowance will be added up here. So let's move straight to the skirt part. So now for the skirt parts, on this line, on this bust span line, we just come to the left with half an inch, to the right with half an inch. We step down with 4 inches. We connect it. Then, you know, the waist circumference we are working with is a 26. We divide 26 by 4. It gives us a 6.5. We return this 1 inch. Then we measure 2 inches seam allowance. For the hip measurement we are working with is 36 divided by 4, give us a 9 inches. We get our 2 inches seam allowance. Here we deduct, okay, we have done that, we deduct 1.5 from here, we get 7.5, we just get our 2 inches seam allowance. We are using 2 inches seam allowance because of the beginner that might want to waste some fabric a bit. But if you are not a beginner, you are going to use a 1 inch to 1.5 inches. We are likely to reduce that seam allowance in the course of the study. We just connect it. So I'm trying to blend the hip parts. Your hip region is not supposed to be as sharp. I will close up this dot. So this is what we're going to use to cut our skirt part. We have already closed the dots. I want it to relax. So this is our pattern. When we want to cut out our fabric, ensure that you add half an inch to this side. Half an inch will be added here, and half an inch will be added here. Half an inch will be added up here as your joining allowance. So for the side, we have already added our side seam. So I told you, if you're not a beginner, an inch, 1 inch is okay for you for the side seam. So you just connect this so that you will see you'll be able to differentiate the side seam to the. So let's just move straight to the back cut. Back cut. Now this is my starting point, and the length of a gown now, we are having 36.5. You know, the length of our gown is a 38, we deducted the 1.5 as our that bust that. So for the back, we are having 36.5. Then we have our 2 inches hem allowance. This is a chest line of 8 inches. Our waistline, that is the back, half back, is 15.5. For the front, it was 17 inches. 1.5 has been deducted for the bust that. So we have 15.5 as our waistline for the back. Then for the hip line, from the waist line, it's 8 inches. Our hip line is 8 inches. We just take it direct from up here. We have 25 inches as our hip line for the front. But now 1.5 has been deducted. So just check your front from the waistline. We are having 8 inches. We still have the same thing from the half back waistline to the hip line. Then the length of our dress. So next thing we want to do now is to determine our horizontal measurements. And to achieve that, we measure the bust circumference. The bust circumference we are working with is 32. We divide it by 4. It gives us 8 inches. So on the chest line, we measure 8 inches. On the waistline, we come to the left and to the right with a half an inch. Then on the chest line, we just step down with a 1 to 1.5. We connect it. We come to the hip line. We step up with 2 inches from the hip line. We connect it. So on the waistline, we measure the waist measurements. The waist circumference we are working with is 26. We divide it by 4, give us 6.5. 6.5. We return this 1 inch. For the hip measurement we are working with is 36 inches. We divide it by 4, give us 9 inches. 9 inches. For the down part of our gown, we deduct 1.5 from the hip circumference. 9 minus 1.5 give us 7.5. Then we get our seam allowance of 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches. So we connect it. Before I cut it for the for the chest line at the back, so you can now determine how you want your back neckline to look. So for this project, from the chest line, I will just be stepping down with 1 inch. So, and I will connect it. I'll connect it to this end. I'm connecting it to the original measurements of 8 inches. So before we cut it out, we want to take care of our back. So we want to shape the back. To shape our back at the waistline, we just step in with half an inch. So you can just, let me just do that here. I will step in with half an inch. On the chest line, I will just step up with 2 inches. So then I will just connect it. This half an inch, I will connect it to these 2 inches I came up with from my chest line. Then from this, I will just connect to my hip line straight up. So by the time you see this half an inch that I came in, so this is the way it will just be connected. So by the time we cut off this will become our original zipper allowance. So that's it. We want to cut it out now. Yeah, this is it. Then I cut this to shape my back to avoid the zipper bulging. So as this one is now, it depends on you. You might choose to cut this for your skirt part to be separated from the bodice. Then you close this, you can close the dart, and you can choose to hold this dart as it is. So it depends on you. As it is now, I think I will want my back to be this way. By the time I'm cutting out my fabric, I will have the half an inch seam allowance to the upper parts of this back foot. That's all. So, and this my dart, I'm going to hold it. I'm going to hold it on my fabric. So that is it. This is the back drafting for our dress. So the next thing we want to do now is to go ahead and cut out our fabric. Now I've gone ahead to cut out the fabric, adding half an inch to all the side where it is needed. And this is the skirt part. This is the front bodice. This is the lining. I'll be using the same fabric for the lining. This is the major front bodice. I've gone ahead to add to gum the fusible interfacing or ST. Then wording has been attached to it as well. This is it. So this is the lining, and this is the skirt part. Half an inch has been added up here, and my seam allowance, side seam, I've reduced 1 inch. So I'm using 1 inch as my side seam now. The same thing here, and the M allowance has been reduced to 1.5. I added 2 inches, but now it's 1.5. So the same thing is being done to the back cut. Have an inch up here, 1 inch side seam, and the 1.5 M allowance. So the next thing now is for me to go and join the piece together. I'm going to join this together with the half an inch seam allowance. I will join it together just this way. Start from the down part with half an inch. Do the same thing to the lining. We open the dart and iron it very well. We have gone ahead to join our bustier dress together. This is the inner part of it. You can see everything the same seam. You can see how beautiful it looks. For more detail on this on the sewing and of this bustier, I'll just drop the link for one of our video on bustier with flans. So I'll drop the link for that so that you have more knowledge of how everything is being joined together. The next thing we want to move to is to make our bowknot sleeve. To achieve that, what you need is the round off shoulder of your client. It's not the bust circumference you need. You just take your tape measure, measure round your client this way, both bodies and the arm together. So whatever you get, you are going to add 2 inches to it. So for the person I'm making for, round off shoulder is 38. So I'm adding 2 inches to it, making 40 inches. And that is what I use to cut out the fabric we are using. So I measure that 40 inches going round. So the breadth is 40 inches by 10 inches. That is the length of our sleeves. And this one piece is serving, for both sleeves, is going round. So, and this is going to be used for the lining. And this is the main fabric. You can see that paper stay, that is peplum stay, has been added to the main fabric. And this is this will be used as lining. For the lining, the same length is used. Breadth for the lining, but for the length, we are using 8 inches. We use 10 inches for the main fabric, but the lining, 8 inches will be used for the lining. So, and the next thing we are going to do now is to apply our crinoline, the horsehair. I'm using 1 inch. So I will just place this lining on the main fabric, and I will go ahead and attach my horsehair to it. So we have many video on that. So I'll just place it, leaving my seam allowance. I'll just place it this way, and I'm going to sew direct. I will I will use my office pin to, hold it down. When I'm sewing, I will place my hem gun on it. So I will just sew it, leaving like quarter of an inch. But for the crinoline, I will sew very close to the edge of the crinoline. So I will do that for this side, and the same after joining it here, I will come to this side and do the same thing. So before I join the down part, I might just go ahead and attach my boning. I will attach the boning to the center of my lining. I will apply like a three. I will apply it to like 3 places. 1, 2, 3 in between. I mean, in the middle of my lining. So after doing that, I will let you see the results. We have stitched all our boning, and the crinoline has been attached to the fabric. You can see the boning is sewn direct to the lining. So the next thing is for us to turn it to the right side now and iron it very well. You can see the hem gum is attached to the crinoline so that it will stay very well. So I turn it to the right side. Here is it. So I'll iron it very well. The next thing I will do now is to cut out the fabric that is part of the main dress fabric. I'll cut it like just cut out like 4.5 by 5. Then we'll go ahead and just stitch it here with a quarter of an inch. We stitch it here, we turn it to the right side. So that is what we will use to. So we are going to get the center of this. So this is the lining part. We are going to get the center of this, then that is where we fold it and apply this to, as a bow. And this is my piece. I've stitched it together and join it here. Then I'll just turn it to the right side. Then I get the center of this my piece. 40 inches. This is the center. This is the center here. So I want to insert this my cape inside this, and I'm coming to the center. So just fold it. Then insert it in here. Just this way, yeah. So we just push it in. We are coming to the center. So you can see that the joining is at the back here. So this is it. We have gotten to the center. So we just arrange it well. Then the next thing is for you to go ahead and attach it to the dress. So this is the dress. This center will be attached. You get the center of your dress. This is the center. So you just place it here. You use your needle and thread to tack it here. Then you now bring it. You bring it to the back. You can see I'm going to stitch this. So even before I attach this, before I finally pin this to this center, I will have, join it to the back here. I will join it to the back this way. I can fold it a little bit. I can gather it a little bit as well at the back. So I do it. I stitch it down. Then I come this way to the center. So for the other side, so the other side will be joined to this side as well. So for this side, when I want to join this side, I can just fold it in this way and stitch on it. So let me go and do that. So here's the end result of our beautiful dress. You can see how beautiful and stand it looks. So I'm sure you are really enjoying this video. Ensure you drop your comment on the comment section and share the link of this video with your family and friends. And if you have not subscribed, do well to subscribe to this channel today. So thanks for watching. I will see you in my next video.